Hey everyone, I guess we can start, and the other participants will join in a few moments as well, I believe. Hello all, thank you very much for joining today's session. This is our sixth webinar organized under our project. First of all, my name is Yorgos Muftoglu and I am your moderator. And as I said, this is our sixth webinar organized under the series of webinars entitled Business and Art Come Together. We cooperate instead of competing. This is a series of webinars organized and implemented under the framework of the Erasmus Plus project entitled Cultural Footprint. Now, for those that couldn't attend our previous sessions, I will explain in a nutshell what the Cultural Footprint project is about. This is a young entrepreneurial development project for emerging artists, which aims to develop an entrepreneurial mindset among young artists and encourage them to take responsibility for their professional careers and life achievements. The project applies a four-step methodology that improves youngsters' skills and helps them realize their first entrepreneurial ideas. So the first step of the project's methodology is to inspire the artists. The second is to teach them practical skills. The third one is to mentor them, and the fourth one to network them. So the overall project idea is about promoting young entrepreneurship, individual tutoring, digital skills upgrading, and creativity thinking among young cultural workers and emerging artists in the role of learners, and business experts in the role of trainers. So in that way, the project also promotes the learning by doing process. So today's session will introduce you to the information contained in the sixth module of the project's educational curriculum, and it is entitled Promote Your Art. It has been developed by our partners from the Netherlands and specifically from Incubator. And today from Incubator, we have Mardjantie joining us. Hello, Mardjantie. Thank you very much for joining us today. So what this session is about in a nutshell. It is about providing you an understanding of what brand is, its importance for the cultural and creative sector, and how to develop a brand strategy. To provide you also an understanding about promotion and specifically the promotion's importance for the cultural and creative sector. And Mardjantie will guide you on some existing promotional opportunities and how you can make use of them as artists in order to promote your career as much as you can. Now, some general rules about the implementation of the business and art webinars. First of all, I would like to inform you that these and all sessions must be recorded. Therefore, you may as well see an automatic message appearing on top of your screen. This is due to the project's requirements for implementation and reporting, and it is always done in accordance with the GDPR. Therefore, if you don't wish to appear in the recorded version of the session or in some promotional photos that may be taken later on during the implementation of the session, then you may as well keep your cameras turned off during the whole session. Moreover, I have shared with you a few moments before a link to the attendance list, and I just shared it again in the chat. This is a digital attendance list that all of you must fill in and sign so that we can keep track of your participation. Moreover, by the end of today's training, I will share with you another link that leads to the evaluation form of the webinar, and I will ask you to fill it in digitally as well. These are both due to the project's requirement for reporting. This is the attendance list I have just shared with you in the chat. As you can see, it requires your full names, your names of the sending organizations, or at least the organization from whom you were informed about the training and you were invited in the session, your country of residence, your email address, and your signatures. Now, regarding your signatures, if you cannot or do not want to copy and paste your signatures in the attendance list, then you may as well just write your full name again in the signature section. It works for us. But what is important for us is for you to write your full names and email addresses necessarily. And I will explain in a few seconds why. Moreover, this is a preview of the evaluation form that I will share with you by the end of the training. As you can see, it can be accessed both by your computers and your mobile phones. Now, some rules of communication. First of all, as I said before, and I repeat again, this training is currently being recorded. Therefore, if you don't wish to appear in the recorded version of the training, which will also be available on the project's website and YouTube channel, then you can keep your cameras turned off during the whole session. Now, as far as it concerns your microphone should be muted during the whole session unless you're asking questions or generally having the permission to speak. In case of questions, please first raise your hands here digitally, and once Mardjantie has given you permission to speak, then you can unmute yourselves. Lastly, as I said before about the attendance list, it is very important for us to have your full names and email addresses at least, because this is how we will keep track of your participation, and then by the end of the webinars, issue certificates for your attendance. If we don't have your full names and your email addresses, then you won't be able to receive certificates of attendance. So please write your full names appearing correctly in the attendance list. And before giving the floor to Mardjantie and start today's training, this is just an indicative agenda of how we will proceed with the training today. We're done with the introductory part of it. And for the next 45 minutes, I guess Mardjantie will introduce you to branding and to its relevance for the cultural and creative sector. Then, if needed, we will have a short break of about 10 minutes. And the last 45 minutes will cover the promotion section, and some indicative topics that will be addressed is the online portfolio, social media, and other digital tools for promotion. And the last 5 minutes of the session will cover some conclusive remarks made either by you or just by Mardjantie only. And during these 5 minutes, I will share with you the evaluation form to be filled in by all of you digitally. And that's all from me. Thank you very much again for joining. And without further ado, Mardjantie, the floor is yours. I will stop sharing my screen. You can start.
Thank you. Well, hello, everyone. Good to see you all here, or at least now you're here. Can you all hear me?
We can, Mardjantie, and we can also see your screen.
Good, good. Well, welcome to the module Promote Your Art. I am Mardjantie Stienstra from Incubator Leeuwarden. Together with my colleagues, we've developed this module and also the module for next Tuesday, the financials. And I'll just introduce you through promotion today. Like Jorgo said, we'll be talking about branding today and promotion. Because as an artist, of course, it's fun to be creative and make your art, but actually getting your art out there and selling stuff to make sure you keep doing what you're doing might not always be as easy as it sounds. Thankfully, we are living in a digital age nowadays, which makes it a lot easier to reach a lot of people in just a short time frame. But unfortunately, it also means that we're dealing with a lot of competition because of the digital easiness of it. I'll start. Oh, the learning outcomes is, of course, knowing what branding is, why it's important, and knowing what promotion is, why it's important. And we'll give you some practical tips, some tools to create either a brand strategy or promotional opportunities that you can use that you maybe already use, but we'll handle it anyways. So first, I'll show you this. What do you think is something that all these organizations, artists, businesses have in common? I think you probably know. It is a strong brand. And do you, maybe if you all go on your computers to menti.com and use the code that is on here, 29039417, and maybe give me some things that you think is the purpose of branding. Why is branding so important? Why is it important for you to have a brand? Hopefully we'll get some responses. I can already see someone in the chat answering. It presents us in the public, which is exactly what branding is, indeed. Maybe others? Well, I'll just continue. Here it's already coming. Recognizability, exactly. Acknowledgement, advertising, definitely. Differentiating, acknowledgements. Oh, I see advertising also in the chat coming. Well, exactly. Branding your business is important in many different ways because the right branding defines your business in its name, slogan, design, and symbols. So everything that you see all starts with a strong brand, because that is exactly with where you can distinguish yourself from your competition or other companies, other artists, etc. To list a few of the advantages of a strong brand: it defines your business, it clearly delivers a message, it promotes recognition, it confirms the brand's credibility in the marketplace, it separates you from its competitors, it emotionally connects target prospects with a product or a service, and it motivates the buyer to make a purchase. And of course, create user loyalty. Therefore, you can consider a brand as the idea or image that people have in mind when thinking about specific products, services, and activities of a company, or maybe in your case, your art. And it can be perceived both in a practical and in an emotional way. The examples that are here is the shoe is lightweight, which is practical, and emotional way, the shoe makes me powerful. It could also be, for example, the painting is colorful, or the painting makes me feel happy. Therefore, not only the physical features that create your brand are important, but also the feelings that other people develop towards you and your art makes a brand either strong or maybe unfortunately weak. So the combination of physical and emotional cues is triggered when exposed to the name, the logo, the visual identity, or even the message communicated. This means that all together are a brand, both the name, the logo, visual identity, everything that is around your art, your name, is your brand. So in the end, a brand is a person's feeling about a specific product or company, and this, in our case, you and your art. And each person creates his or her own version of it. And because it also changed, sometimes brands can increase or decrease in popularity because people sometimes feel different about your brand along the time. Branding in the arts and culture industry is not always as easy as it might sound. To create an interesting brand, the industry needs to pay attention to the changing needs and offer something novel, while at the same time give the consumers the confidence to cope with its novelty. And that is difficult for the industry, since your art cannot always easily be understood by all people. Therefore, to create your strong brand in the cultural and creative sector, you need to do more than promote your interesting art. You need to make sure that your brand is interesting for itself. A unique brand can have a huge impact by giving you as an artist a competitive advantage over your competitors and help you acquire and retain customers. In the creative and cultural sector, where new players, which also means new competitors, are coming every day, and an establishment can be an invaluable asset in bringing audience, customers, and generating profit out of art. Knowing now what branding is and why it's so important, we need to know how we make such a unique brand. Well, to do so, you will need to have a brand strategy. It's a company's strategic plan that includes specific goals and helps you shape a certain image in customers' minds. Your strategy should help you as a business understand who you are and ultimately act as the blueprint for helping you communicating your brand to your audience. However, before starting developing and creating your brand and a brand strategy, you need to prepare two things. And those two things are already discussed in a previous module of Get to Know Your Market, because it's about researching who your target audience is and research who your competitors are. I'll quickly talk about this again. But if you haven't been there last Tuesday and you want to know more about it, then you can go to the MOOC platform and find more information about it in the Get to Know Your Market module. So who is your target audience? To find out who your target group is, you will have to think of the products or services that you're selling and who those products and services will serve. If you are already an established artist and you have already an established business, then you can research your own customers and consult the available numbers and data that you have on them. But you can also research the audience that you want to target, or research your competitors. Find all information you can about the audience that you want to serve. So think about finding out what their habits are, what suits your product or service the best, and make sure you make notes of the customers that you could most easily sell to, the customers that you would like to reach the most, and how these customers speak and what they talk about. I'll have a exercise about this as well, but I think it will take too much time to really do this research. So I'll just show you. I know the previous module also had some activities to do so, but here is a template where you can make buyer personas. This means you can create your own persona of the target audience that you want to serve, and it will give you a little bit of an overview of what channels they're on and what added value you might serve them, but also what maybe are barriers to your target audience that you want to prevent. So go to the MOOC platform afterwards or whenever you have time, and do the research for yourself and use this template. Then, who are your competitors? To build your brand, you will also have to know where you stand compared to your competitors. It's important to find out with whom you share the space, and thus with whom you're competing for attention. How do they might outshine you? But most importantly, how can you outshine them? As well as for the target audience, it's important to do research. What is already out there? Who is doing what? What are the similar things that they do? Or what are the different approaches that they take? Moreover, it's important with competition to keep in mind that there are multiple types of competitors. It could be an artist who makes similar art as you, but it could be also an artist in a different sector of art, but targeting the same audience as you are. Or the artist make works that have the same value as you. So there are different sorts of competitors that you have to keep in mind. And as you might have learned in the module, Find Your Collaborations, keep also in mind that a competitor is not necessarily competition to you. You can also seek for opportunities to collaborate with your competitors. To also have an overview of all the competitors, I have a second exercise. Again, same as the target audience, do this research at home. Make sure to fill the template and have the overview for yourself. So you can research for yourself what is your unique selling point, or maybe a competitor that's interesting that you want to collaborate with. Just seek for the opportunities that you can find in making such a competitive analysis. And when you do so, make sure you include the purpose and vision of the competitors, but also their tone of voice or their marketing channels, their strengths, but also their weaknesses. And try to, get some inspiration from this competitive analysis. So now you know the audience that you want to target, but also what your competition is. You can start establishing your brand strategy. To establish the brand strategy, there are 3 key parts that will help you share your story impactfully and effectively. It's important to follow the 3 parts in the order as I'm telling you now, because the one will build upon the other. And we'll start with the brand heart. The brand heart is the first part of building your branding strategy, because this holds the basic sets of beliefs that influence everything you do. It is vital to know that these principles are, what these principles are and why they matter, and have them aligned to make sure you can create the future you want. Basically, the brand heart is the heart of your business. Who are you? Why are you doing it? Why are you making your art the way it is? So you can follow, for example, the 4 elements that are below here. So what is your purpose? What's the purpose of your art? What's the vision? What future do you want to create? And how does that look like? What's your mission? So what are you here to do? And how will you do that? And values, what principles guide behavior? Keep those in mind. Answer these questions for yourself to understand what your brand heart is of you and your arts. And when you've established who you are, you need to figure out how to express who you are and how to talk about who you are. Those 2 elements will help to ensure your brand will communicate effectively, honestly, authentically, and consistently. Especially consistently is very important, because that makes sure your brand will stay in the minds of people. We'll go to both elements. We'll dive into both elements. So how to express who you are. This element will form a foundation of how to communicate who you are at every touch point, from your website to your social media. So it consists of the personality and the tone of voice. Personality is basically your brand's human characteristics and attributes, and is a reflection of your brand heart, influenced by your beliefs and demonstrated in your behavior. The tone of voice is the way your brand sounds and speaks. The personality of your brand, which you figured out before, influences also the tone of voice of your brand, and basically lets you know what kind of sentence to use and what colors to use, and how your brand should sound when it would be a human. And like I said before, ensure consistency throughout your communication and content. That's really important. To have an idea of the personality of your brand, I have an exercise which maybe would be fun to do. So I'll challenge you to take a look at your own brand and imagining it as a person. What 3 to 5 words would you use to describe this person? What would they be like, and how would they sound like? You can use the words that are on the screen if they are clear to you. And I'll give you, let's say, 5 minutes. And when you have 3 words or 5 words, share them in a group. And if you're willing to share why you've chosen for those words, let me know. So I'll give you just a few minutes. I can see the first words coming up. Any of you willing to elaborate on why you've chosen those words? I see one: efficient, fun, and smart because it's nice and useful. Nice. Anyone else? 3 words. Okay, I don't see anything coming in the chat anymore, then I'll continue. Is there anyone willing to elaborate on the words they've mentioned? Oh, I can see someone else. Artistic, because it is art. Strong, because people like strength. And rebellious, because it signifies something new. I like that. Funny, eloquent, and caring. Nice, beautiful words. Well, it's nice to see those words that you associate for yourself with your brand, and keep those words in mind when we're building the rest of our brand. We'll continue with how to talk about who you are. And as this element already says, this is about what story are you going to tell the outside world about you and your brand. It exists of three basic messaging: articulate your value proposition, create your tagline, and identify your messaging pillars. The value proposition is where you explain the functional and emotional benefits your product, service, your art provides to your customers. This could be done through a positioning statement where you state in 1 or 2 sentences what you offer, who your target audience is, so what you offer and to whom you offer it, and your value proposition. Create your tagline. A tagline can also help you in figuring out how to create your brand messaging. And it's also a nice sentence that you can include in your promotional activities. A tagline can be used to make sure people remember you and your brand and your art. And then identifying your messaging pillars. These are key stories that you might want to tell about your brand, and thus what makes you unique and different. So that's really the story that you want to tell from your brand, but maybe also from your art. Again, I have an exercise for you where you can create your tagline. But this also needs some time, and I can imagine that it will also need some creativity, so you will need to take that time to make sure you'll make a good one. Again, this exercise will be in a MOOC platform, so take your time afterwards to create your tagline and use it wherever you want. As you can see below, it says share your tagline with the group. Do so with friends or family or whatever. Make sure you get feedback on your tagline, because then maybe you can improve it somewhere, and then make eventually a perfect tagline that you can use for your online portfolio, for your socials, or other promotional opportunities. And then the last thing, and that might be the first thing that you think of when you think about branding, is the visual identity. So how does it look? What do people see when they see your brand? So it's about the logo, the colors, about the fonts that you use, and all other elements that visualize you, your art, your brand. Important things that you need to keep in mind when you design the visual identity of your brand is that it needs to be, most importantly, purposeful, but also flexible. Plus, your brand can change, which is no problem, but make sure it's flexible. And then you have had the 3 words that you have written in the chat, and maybe you've written them down for yourself. So I'd like to challenge you to go to coolers.co and start the generator. I'll show you on my screen how it works. So if you go to coolers.co and you start the generator, you can create your own color palettes. If you think, okay, I said happy, so I'll like to have a happy color, then maybe you'll choose to go for yellow and pick a bright yellow color, and pick a few colors that you think fit your brand, and share your screenshot in the chat if you'd like. And maybe you can explain why you've chosen those colors. I have also, oh, it's all starting again. I've here got the color psychology, the chart on what feelings fit to what colors. You can maybe use these ideas as inspiration to pick the colors that you would want to use. So I'll give you another, let's say, 5 minutes for that. And if you're willing to share the screenshot and explain about it, then please do. Are there maybe already people who have chosen some colors? Why have you chosen for those colors? Anyone willing to share something? If you don't have a screenshot, you can also let us know that you've maybe chosen for a pink color because of the creativity, or purple because of imagination. I see already something in the chat. Black, white, and red are my go-to because there's a lot of contrast and it catches everyone's eye rather than that the feelings are strong each time. Okay, I like it. Anyone else? I would choose purple because of the meaning and some pale pink because of creativity. I like it. I like it. And a gray because of neutrally. Yes. Oh, I can see someone who has made something. Nice. Purple, imaginative, artistic, and so on. I did not put it in my explanation. No problem. Amazing. Well, very nice to see. Hopefully it will help you in knowing what colors to use in your logo or in your online portfolio or what other promotional opportunities that you have. So these were the 3 parts to establish your brand strategy. And once you've developed and created this, you will need to apply the strategy to ensure your story gets told and it gets out there. In order to ensure your story gets told as effectively as possible, it might be helpful for yourself to create some brand guidelines. That means that you will have some, not necessarily rules, but like agreements with yourself, like, okay, I will use these colors for that, and I will use these fonts for that, that there is a consistency in what you use where. And as long as you have your business for yourself, you probably do it like you want it yourself. But especially if you have a creative company yourself and you have employees, it might be helpful to make sure those brand guidelines are very clear so everyone knows what is expected from what promotional opportunity. And once you have built your brand and created those guidelines, you can go share your brand and show it. Make sure you draw attention to your brand and that it gets noticed by your target group. Or like it says here, in other words, bring your brand strategy to life. And of course, that goes hand in hand with promotion, what we will dive into after the break. But before going into that, it's important to also know that even though you have established your brand and you build your brand and maybe you have shown the world your brand, you will also have to take a step back and review your brand in an objective way, but also what is your brand doing? Does the brand indeed hold the value that you wanted and that you needed and what you were aiming for? Does it also impact your consumers' buying choices? So ultimately, you have to ask yourself, is your brand doing what it's is supposed to do for your business and for your art? So you will have to evaluate your brand from outside perspective. And when it means that it maybe needs some changes, that is always fine, of course. You can always change your brand strategy, especially if you also change. So don't think that a branding strategy is set in stone. It can always change. Just make sure that you start all over and make sure it's strong again. Then I think the next part will be about promotion. So I think it would be nice to have a short break now so we can have so we can dive into promotional opportunities after the break. So Yorgos, I think in about 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Okay. Well, see you in 10 minutes. everyone back again. Because then you can go to menti.com again and use the same code as previously. And I'd like to challenge you what you think is considered under promotion. Or share it in the chat, of course. Communication, public appearance, sharing values, nice. Awareness, attractive visibility. Increase audience. Well, those are already nice answers. Promotion is indeed about strategies and techniques that help you communicate your products or your services, so your artwork, and of course your brand to the audience, and especially your target audience. Therefore, you're aiming with promotions to presenting your art and your brand and increase the demand of it and differentiate it. Therefore, it's also promotion is one of the basic elements of marketing. The main goals for promotion is to gain awareness about you, your brand, and your art, and to attract people to make them buy your art. However, promotion includes also other objectives, such as development of your brand image, informing customers, so the communication, showing your uniqueness over your competitors, turning potential buyers into actual customers and make sure they buy your art, and of course, promoting new artworks that you've made. Many organizations outside of the arts and culture sector already use creative ways of developing engaging content. For example, all other businesses who do promotion use mostly creative ways to promote it. That means that the art and a culture sector have influenced the business sector. Therefore, it would only make sense if we as an art sector also implement certain business strategies to carry out our own objectives, such as promotion. Because promotion can ensure that we have a quicker, easier, and more efficient way of sharing your art to the world and increase those potential buyers. Many artists, and maybe you also, will agree with the statement that experiencing art is best when it is shared with other people. And that is something that other businesses also value and thus create content for their brand that people will also want to share. People love to broadcast their personal opinions. Thus, by creating content that reflects their perceptions, will give people the incentive to share and promote your brand. Therefore, again, the brand that you have created is a very strong feature of promotion. I'll now share some promotional opportunities. Most of them you probably already use, but you can just take some inspiration of the opportunities that are out there. And if you have anything you can add, share it in the chat. Because the first and foremost promotional opportunity, and that is one of the best ways to promote your art and have your art collected, is having an online portfolio. It's one of the first places that people look to see if they like you as an artist of your work or your brand, and whether they want to buy your artwork. In order to create an attractive and effective portfolio, you can follow these 6 tips to help you make a strong and professional portfolio. The first one is compile your best work. You don't need to share all of your work, but decide for yourself what is your best work that you want to use in your portfolio that you think your target audience needs to see. Develop an aesthetic, which is, of course, very linked to branding, but your portfolio needs to have a certain feel over it as well. The third one is incorporate an artist statement. This is a little bit related to the tagline. Make sure that that you tell a story and that story is related to your brand and to your artwork, and make sure that that story, that artist statement is something that people will remember you by. Add captions to your work is also important. They'd like to know what your work is. Add contact information, maybe the most important one of all, because once people have seen your work, they also want to know how to get in contact with you to make sure they can maybe buy your work or find more information about your work or find other works that you haven't shown in the portfolio yet. And the last one, which is the most important with all promotional opportunities, share it wherever and whenever you can. I have, again, an exercise to create your own artist statement. It's the same with the tagline. This requires some work. You can see already in the first step to make a mind map about your work. I would also suggest you to do this at home. Really take the time for it. And again, like step 2 says, interview yourself or have someone else interview you. Include other people while creating this, because you might have a very clear idea for yourself of what your artist statement is, but sometimes it can come across a little differently when you share it. So share your artist statement with family and friends, ask for their feedback and incorporate the feedback and adjust wherever necessary to make a strong artist statement that you can use on several promotional opportunities. And then, of course, nowadays, very important is sharing your art on social media. This is an easy way. It's a usual way. However, social media is also huge. It has many people on it, many people who are using it for promotion. So it's really difficult to make sure that you stand out from the crowd. To have a few practical tips that you can use to make sure that your art maybe gets noticed a little bit better on social media, or to have some inspiration for new posts or whatever, is to, for example, show your process, show where you begin and what the end of your work is, show some sneak peeks of the work that you're working on at the moment. Most importantly is choose the right platform and time for your audience. There are different times audience are on social media for different platforms, but also for different targets. Fourth tip, engage with your audience. People like to be involved. You already do that if you, for example, show some sneak peeks or show your progress, but you can also do it with, for example, polls or other things that a lot of social networks provide you with. Make sure you keep track of your engagements. So make notice of the data. I remember in the last module, Census also explained a lot about how you can use analytics to keep track of the engagement of your followers and your audience. Make sure to keep that in mind and use that also to change your approach in your promotion on social media. Make your platform reflect your brand. Like I said, if you have chosen certain tone of voice or a certain color or whatever, it's nice if that is reflected on your platform, so that it makes your brand stronger, it makes people recognize you, it makes people remember you, and it will only help you promote your brand and your work. Use tags and hashtags, of course, always important. And the last one is collaborate. You can again find more information about it in the module on collaborations, but it can really help you to target a wider audience or target a different audience or a new audience, whatever. It really helps if you collaborate with it can be another artist or maybe even a business. Doesn't really matter. Collaborations always help in promotion. And then there are other ways where you can promote yourself and your brand for free and make sure you leverage your expertise. You need to remember that these ones are maybe, these examples do take a little bit more time and are not as easy to do as social media might be, but it can work, it can pay off in a very good way if you are willing to spend that time to those approaches. And some of these examples are, for example, start a blog or a vlog. It's important. You won't have many followers with the first one you make. But as time goes by, people can really get engaged and really involved and actually become very trustworthy and loyal followers or audiences or maybe even buyers. To start, you could maybe guest post on other blogs, but again, collaborating, like I said before, is just amazing to also target a new audience or a different audience. So also a very good idea if you if you know someone in that department. And join and participate on online forums. Also for your own promotion can be very worthwhile, but it can also, again, be worthwhile to find other artists to get inspired and maybe collaborate with other people. Networking, I would say, is also a very important element of promotion, but it also takes a lot of time and dedication to make sure it works and you'll get something out of it. Because networking is all about building relationships. So it's about meeting new people and then exchanging ideas, information, experiences, get inspired by others, and you will be able to inspire them as well. Networking can open many, many doors. It can open doors to knowledge, to inspiration, like I said, to support, to collaboration. There are many other promotional opportunities that can derive from networking. Like I said, it takes a lot of time and it's not about just taking. Also keep in mind that for networking, you'll have to give also your effort and your time, and you'll get that back. Because when you help another artist or share relevant information with another person in your network, chances are that they will reciprocate. they will give you your time and your effort back in the end, but that might take a while. So the results of good networking cannot always be shown immediately. It takes time to build those relations, to build those connections, and maintain these. To help you a little bit in networking, here are some tips. The first one is prepare a pitch. A pitch is not only good for networking, it's always good to have a pitch ready, because it's good that you have something ready to describe what you are, what you do, what you're able to give, what the value is of you and your art, and most importantly, what you are looking for. And of course, the last part depends on who you're talking with. And when you have a pitch for yourself, just practice it. Again, do this also with family and friends first to know how your story comes across to others, and maybe you can improve a little bit in some places. And then when you think you have nailed it, then use it wherever you are. Whenever an opportunity arises where you can network, just grab it and do it and tell your story and share what you are looking for or what you need. But you can also find out where you want to network, because it doesn't always come right at you. Of course, the easiest and fastest way is reaching out within your personal network. So who do you know within your family? Who do you know within your friends? But also maybe it's a friend of your uncle, or a little bit further away from yourself, but still you know them quite easily. So those are the first steps to network. You can also, of course, use online platforms such as LinkedIn or Facebook to search for people outside your personal network to tell your story. But you could also attend networking events in your field of interest. But like I said, try to do it wherever and whenever, because you can never share your story too much. And lastly, be open. So like I said, remember that everywhere you go, it could be a potential networking opportunity. So be brave and aim to discover new things, and be open to connecting with new people everywhere you go. Someone might not seem to be a right connection for you in the first instance, but it might work out to be a real good one in the end. You never know. So just take a chance and do it wherever you go. To make sure you have a good networking pitch, again, we have an exercise, but take the time and do it afterwards, because a good networking pitch, like I said, that you can use wherever, is definitely worthwhile. So use those steps and create your networking pitch, and take your time to create a good one. And again, also practice it in front of friends and family first, to make sure it's the perfect pitch that you are willing to share. And collaboration, also mentioned multiple times now, but it's just an important marketing tool, because it attracts people who aren't familiar, because it can attract both people who aren't familiar with the art world, or maybe people who aren't into the art that you're making. But collaboration can really open new opportunities for you and for your work. You can choose to work locally with people, or maybe even internationally, whatever you like. And as I said in module 4 on collaboration, you have already learned a lot about this. And if you weren't there, then you can go there on a MOOC platform, and that's where they will really dive into the topic of collaboration. So please do if you're interested in that. And then the last tools, there are some other digital tools that you can make use of, such as art posting websites. These websites, they allow you to display your work to maybe a new audience. There are many different sorts of art posting websites, so just look for the website that is most suited to you and your art, and where you're able to reach the audience that you would want to reach. And of course, there are art competition. Entering a competition is great if you win it, but it's also great if you want some extra attention for your art. So it's never, even if you don't win, it's not a losing situation. You can always try and enter an art competition to just get your name out there, just get your art out there. And mention also the art competition yourself, which will maybe also reach a new audience. So again, be brave and just do it. Well, very fast, I notice, but now you know that's what steps you can take to master the promotion of your art. Remember that it takes time to completely master the different approaches, and especially do research on how to ensure you use the tools and approach the most successful way. I don't know, maybe some of you can share what promotional opportunities you already use, or maybe you have tips for others. You can share it in the chat, or maybe put your mics on and share it with others. Anyone has a great tip? I have a Facebook page, and I made some promotions of my art on a page. Well, if you want to share it in the chat, you can do it. I mean, if there is a networking opportunity now, then here it is. Take the opportunity and do it. Does anyone have any pages for artist competitions or sites to share arts? And is there any specific field that you are looking for, Faya? Or no, not really, still haven't decided. Well, if anyone has any art competitions or art posting websites that they know of, please share in the chat. I'm not an artist myself, so unfortunately I have to say that I don't know. I can see that I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Liupika, that you're not willing to show your Facebook page. Don't worry, show it whenever you think it's the right time. Well, unfortunately, Vaya, there's not much response yet. When we have, I'll share it with you. For now, like I said, I'm very Dutch and direct, so this was a little faster than I had projected it to be. But if you have any questions, this is the time to ask. This was really insightful. Thank you. Well, thank you for being here, Faya. Are we going to have a presentation? What do you mean? You want the content of this presentation? Because it will be available on the MOOC platform as well, just as all the other modules will be available.
In fact, as I said before in the chat, everyone, all these training materials are already available in the project training handbook, and the actual practical exercises and these presentations and the more interactive, method of teaching will be, as Mardjantie said, available on our MOOC platform. So, as I shared before in the chat, by the way, since we are done earlier with the module, we can close the session earlier. It's not a problem. This is not a problem. So, but before leaving, I would like all of you, first of all, to please take a few moments to fill in the evaluation form that I'm sharing with you right now. Okay, just pasted the link in the chat. Please take a few moments and fill in the evaluation form. You're requested to select the module you've just attended, the 6th module, promote your art, and you assess today's webinar. It's very important for us. So thank you very much, Mardjantie, for the very interesting topic you've addressed and you presented. I believe that especially branding, besides promotion, is a very important topic for artists, because it is very also important for artists who want to realize their first entrepreneurial ideas and establish, for example, an organization or an artistic business and be the so-called artpreneurs. And this is very important for all of you, because beware that the following modules, we have another 4 modules before we finalize the whole series of the webinars. These will address and will delve into deeper information about entrepreneurial thinking and establishment. So the following module actually is going to be implemented the next Tuesday. Again by Incubator, and we will have Monica, right, Mardjantie, one of your colleagues. We will have Monica with us to explain how you can get your finances sorted. It will introduce you to some general principles of financial things, and this will be a very important topic for all of you that would like to have like a general overview of how financials work, both personally and professionally within, for example, an artistic business. You will have like a very general important overview. And the next modules will cover funding, will cover finding the entrepreneur in you, like actually establishing the entrepreneurial mindset that you need. And the last module will introduce you to several methods, and especially the business model canvas, which is about how to visualize your own business idea. So especially today's topic about branding will be very useful for you once you also follow the methodologies that will be addressed during our next webinars. So please follow this link and fill in the evaluation form. And I'm pasting here in the chat another link, and I will explain with you what it is. So I just shared another link, which is which will lead you to another okay, wait, isn't it sent? Okay, for some reason I can receive the link. Let me try another time. Okay, I just sent you another link. This is leading to another registration form that is currently open under our project, and it refers exactly to the networking opportunities that Mardjantie mentioned before to be very important for all of you. And we have mentioned it multiple times during our webinars. This registration form gives you the opportunity, if you're an artist, to register your artworks for our platform, the Cultural Footprint Repository, and you have the opportunity to register your artworks and get them hosted under the repository for promotion and networking opportunities. So we believe that this is very important for all of you, and if you want, you can follow this link and submit um, your artwork. So as I said before, you will find our training handbook in the project's website, culturalfootprint.eu, as here appearing in the chat. You will also there find other opportunities like the registration form I mentioned before, and soon you will be able to access our e-learning platform. So if Mardjantie and all of you, the participants, don't have any other comments, then we can close the session. Thank you very much, Mardjantie, for your presentation. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today's session. And don't forget, next Tuesday, we have our 7th webinar about how to get your finances sorted. If you haven't registered in yet, you can do it as well by also communicating with us via the project's website. So that's all from me. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you all.
Okay, bye everyone.